About 24.
Grab the screw, yes. Well, sorry, you started pulling it without... I don't know what you're going to do. You're totally unpredictable, and not in a good way.
No, in a good way. That's my charm.
No, outside of the studio, it's fine. Once you get around the equipment, it's frightening.
It's charming.
Not really, no.
Look into my eyes.
It's expensive.
It's charming.
It's going to be expensive.
Repeat after me.
What?
It's charming.
Is it as charming as what I'm wearing right now?
No.
COVID fashion. Welcome to CoupleCo, working with your spouse for fun and profit. I'm Blaine Parker.
Which makes me Honey Parker.
Welcome to another special pandemic edition of CoupleCo, the Mayhem Marketing Minute.
Very soon, we will resume our interviews with inspiring couples in business together.
But something we are starting again right this very minute is talking about Smokin' Mary, Smoked Bloody Mary mix.
With all the virtual cocktail parties being hosted via video, isn't it time to switch it up?
Yeah, the mega award-winning craft cocktail mixer that kicks butt, tantalizes taste buds, and takes names is available in select Whole Foods and Total Wine and More stores.
Find one near you or mail order a mixer for your quarantini alternative at smokinmary.com.
Had a hard time getting quarantini alternative out, didn't you?
I did.
Yes, Smokin' Mary, Smoked Bloody Mary mix. Hey, nice tomatoes.
And if you have marketing questions for the CoupleCo Mayhem Marketing Oracle, you can reach out to us online at CoupleCo.com.
Now, back to marketing tips for surviving the mayhem.
2 Mayhem Marketing Minutes ago, we talked with Trish McMillen of McMillen Galleries about building your business in troubled times.
Some folks think profiting in tough times is pure luck, but if you listen to Trish McMillen, it's more like pure love.
Oh, that's so nice. Trish is sharing more simple tips that she and her husband Jared used during the last recession, increasing their business by 40% per year for 7 years. That, my friends, is not luck.
No, it's kind of crazy, and I'm a little envious. A little backstory, and that, by the way, I say that as somebody who started a business in a recession, and we did okay.
We're still here.
We had a healthy 6-figure business in year 1.
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all. A little backstory if you missed episode 118. Trish and Jared are fine art photographers of the retail gallery.
Additionally, Trish is a real estate agent with Keller Williams and has been offering online video tips for people who want more insight into managing their money and investing in real estate.
Here in episode 121, we have a bite-sized interview that is covering a whole lot of territory, including the power of motion.
Inviting normalcy.
Maintaining routines.
Ignoring the chaos.
Tapping the Dalai Lama.
Influencing what we are capable of influencing.
Being open to opportunities.
Making a human connection.
And the power of making everyone your customer. Is that even possible? I don't know. So let's find out, and let's get to it with Trish McMillen of McMillen Galleries and LivePlayParkCity.com. We're going to offer a single marketing tip to anybody who's looking to survive the mayhem, what would it be?
It would be swim. Get in the water and swim. It doesn't matter what you try right now. Just do something. Because I think a lot of people become very complacent at times like this because they can become paralyzed by the media or what's happening around them. But at the end, anything you do is still doing something. So my feeling is like it's always better to act than just sit back. Because if you don't play, you can't win.
I get it. You know, I was writing the next CoupleCo blog post, and I was going to write on that topic, on the topic of, you know, when something nutty is going on, it's very hard to focus down and move forward. And what can you do to get past that paralysis and get some positive motion going?
Yeah. And I think some things that are really important for people to do is try to maintain some sense of normalcy. Like try to stick in a routine, because I find for us, like, we're very routine oriented persons. And so for us, like this morning, Jared and I got up and we wrote our trainers together while our daughter kind of just played on the floor while we were just, you know, we just had our couple time. Like that's our date time. And so, you know, of course it's 8:00 in the morning and we're in our bike clothes in the basement, you know, but it's great. And so
we've been hiking.
Yeah, you guys have been getting out. I mean, and so the thing is that energy that you generate, all those things, I mean, we've been outside all day. And so for me, when I'm outdoors, it's one of the best places for me because I always refer to it as our church. And so the thing is when we're outside and it's sunny or snowy or whatever, it's still great for us because it's a complete distraction from our everyday lives, but it's enough of a break to where you can take a breather, let the earth move around you, and then come back and then start making clear-headed decisions and not being so involved in all the chaos of what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not be involved in the chaos. I mean, we don't watch the news.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Because why?
Yeah, well, there's no point.
Okay, you know this, Trish. Tim Ferriss doesn't pay attention to the news.
So I follow Tim Ferriss, which you guys know. He's my guru, and he's been my guru for years. And so for me, the only person I really follow is His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He has the most productive things to say each day, and I read his sayings every single morning, and that's how I start my day. Because the thing is, I feel like there's so much positivity coming off of him that how could you go wrong? And, we don't watch news. Jared and I don't watch news. And last week or 2 weeks ago, we had some friends staying with us and they wanted to watch some of the news to figure out what was going on in the world.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And we were both like, who cares? What difference does it make? Because we can't necessarily impact or influence what's going on in the world. What we have to do is influence things that we can touch every single day, like talking to you guys and trying to help other small business owners, or when somebody calls me up and asks me a question about finances and, how to get into the stock market or, whatever, I'm really glad to share information because that's how people end up doing well. And, if we're doing well, we want other people to do well also, but like I said, people can become easily paralyzed by the news. They can become really entranced and drawn in by everything that's going on in the world. But what you have to realize is, what impacts you most, what affects your ability to continue moving forward. And once you kind of, nail down what those things are that might stop you or get in the way, you become the most powerful version of yourself ever. Because all you can focus on is the positive.
I would like to circle back to the beginning of this conversation where you said the single most important piece of advice you could give to somebody in this mayhem is swim.
Yes.
I'm going to guess you have done this.
Yes. I have.
Can you give an example of how you guys have been swimming ever? Is something that worked or even didn't work? I'm curious to know how this has manifested itself.
Well, the whole swimming thing, the interesting thing is when I was in San Francisco, and I think it was like 1999, I had just moved there and I was looking for a job. And literally like 3 weeks after I got there, the entire internet crash happened. But, I decided to stay. Because I thought, well, I speak 4 languages. There's got to be somebody up here who could use somebody with my skill set, And at the time I had been a race director and I had been doing other things as well. And so I found a company that was looking to hire a woman who was athletic and who had experience in motorsports, somebody who had done dirt biking or ATVing and all those things. And I had done all those things growing up. And so I applied for the job because they wanted someone who could do international travel and who felt comfortable speaking Italian because they were just getting ready to open a branch in Italy. And I got the job. So while things were crashing down around me, I just kept at it. And I just kept at it and I just kept at it. And it was funny because during this time when I was trying to find a job, I took a job doing a part-time catering and bartending gig for the Oakland Raiders. And so I was kind of, I just was kind of...
That old chestnut.
Yeah, so I was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to work. And I'm just going to work and work and work until I save enough money. And I'm just going to wait till I find someone who can see my skill set, but I'm going to stay at it. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to keep going and keep going. And you know what? That ended up being one of the greatest jobs I ever had. I traveled for 2 years and it was so fun. And it was such an awesome job. And I worked in motorcycle racing and power sports racing. And it was just fantastic. I mean, so the thing is sometimes you can dredge up some little jewels in these times that you may not have even expected or anticipated. And the funny thing is that experience really lent itself to our success once we got into Las Vegas and the recession happened there. Because, our first instinct was like, oh boy, okay, are we watching everyone around us losing everything? Because that was pretty much kind of how it went. A lot of people we knew or worked for, they were losing everything, because they were over leveraged. They had too much credit, too many things going on. couldn't manage their finances well. They were losing their jobs. Things were happening around them that were, some things in their control and some things out of their control. But, when you see those things happen to people, you're really like, whoa, I really don't want that to happen to us.
Yeah.
And so instead of Jared and I being completely paralyzed by what was happening around us, we literally both just said, let's take every photography gig that comes in the door. And the majority of the stories we were shooting for were stories about the foreclosure crisis and recession. So, we were working for Forbes or Newsweek or, whoever during that time, but we were covering all bad news, which was crazy. And basically I was like shooting portraits. I'd shoot 3 portrait sessions a day, whatever I could do. And the funny thing was, during that time, we increased our business 40% per year for 7 years. And our accountant couldn't believe it. She was like, your business is growing. And we were like, what? And, really what we did was we reached out to people. We would call people for work. We would say, hey, why don't we do this? And why don't you invite, somebody else to join? You know what I mean? Like, we were networking at a very brass tacks, level. Right. And so that effort of just staying with it and just going, everyone's going to become a customer of ours. And that's pretty much what we just decided. We just said, we are going to make every person we meet a customer.
And did you literally pick up the phone and call people?
Absolutely.
I love that. I mean, it's something that we've been talking about recently. When we talk about your marketing, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, marketing, well, I'm not, running a television commercial. I don't have, this campaign going on social media. Marketing is any way you touch a potential client, and that includes picking up the phone. Well,
picking up the phone is the biggest thing. You have human communication. Now, even though nowadays everyone is trying to text to be unavailable to some extent, what I'm kind of finding is that this whole thing that's going on here and people having to be apart, it may actually have the opposite effect. Because instead of talking to somebody over FaceTime or whatever, you may want to actually have a verbal communication with someone or see someone face to face, because that human comfort may actually make you feel way better, just knowing you're not alone in this world.
It's funny, we interviewed Dr. Rachna Jain about what's going on in the current climate and how to get yourself in the right headspace. And we ended up just hanging out with her and talking for so long. Because it was like, well, this is great. This is a new person to talk to. We haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah.
And it was just, we just loved it. We had a great time. It was a super visit.
Right, which makes it, my point. You just totally made my point, which is that in a time when people feel somewhat disconnected from humanity, connecting with people is awesome. Even if you do it over FaceTime, even if that way they're seeing your face and, they're feeling comforted. It's a great, great way to just, build your relationships. And that's really what you need to do at times like these, is your relationships become the most important thing you have.
Yep.
So that's kind of how we've been doing it. And, we really feel like, if there's people we haven't talked to in a while, well, why not reach out to them?
I feel like everybody that we've reached out to who we haven't spoken to in a while has gotten back to us in a heartbeat.
Well, I love talking to you guys. You're some of my favorite people.
Oh. Wow. Back at you.
Oh, thank God. I was afraid we were alone in that one.
No,
we do like us.
No, we do like you guys. I mean, but also too, I know that this, people who will listen to this will be an asset for them, and hopefully it'll be motivating. Because I do think there's plenty of ways to increase your business during this challenging time, but you got to work at it. You've got to really stay with it. And this is where you can't afford to lose your focus.
The F-bomb again. It's become my new favorite word.
Well, you know what my word is probably every single day in my head? Steady.
Steady?
Steady. Stay the course. Steady. Just be steady. And don't let emotion drive how you do things.
Don't let emotion drive how you do things. That, it's funny. That is it's an important thought. And part of the challenge there is emotion is a driver in all decision making. So you got to learn how to separate the good stuff from the bad stuff.
Well, one thing I will say, Blaine, is that in my brain, and just sort of, following Buddhism, there's 2 emotions that drive everything, and that's fear and love. So we choose love. We love what we do. We love the people that we work for. We work for awesome people, both of us. And the thing is that if you let love drive everything you do, rather than just being afraid of the other shoe dropping, the results of the labor that you put into it are so amazing.
Well, I believe this is part and parcel with the refrain that we have been throwing out there during this entire time, is asking yourself, what does my customer need right now? And how can my business adapt right now to meet that need? And ultimately, that is an effort of love.
Well, and one thing I told Jared with the gallery was, I said, people are home. They just told us today, Summit County will be home till May 1st.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I saw that.
We are locked in.
Right. So in my brain, when I think of the gallery, I think, well, May 1st. That's a lot of time to stare at empty walls in your house.
Yep.
Right? I bet you we can find something that can go on those walls and look amazing.
Yeah.
Something that'll just feel like a window to your soul, and then even with real estate, I told them too. I said, sitting in a house with 4 kids that maybe is a little too small for you, that could motivate you to sell or buy.
It's hard to walk away with a single action item here, but for me, it was probably ignore the mass comm chaos and control what you can control.
For me, it was about making human connections. We've already been doing that and finding that people really respond well to hearing your voice and seeing you on video.
So, should we work on all that and see if we can increase our business 40% per year for the next 7 years?
Starting now.
If you'd like to know more about Trish, you can find her at her real estate website.
That's liveplayparkcity.com.
Or her fine art photography website.
McMillenFineArt.com.
That's McMillen with an E.
If you have any questions for the CoupleCo Mayhem Marketing Oracle, just go to CoupleCo.com.
And we'll see you on the next Mayhem Marketing Minute from CoupleCo, working with your spouse for fun and profit.
CoupleCo is a production of Slow Burn Marketing, LLC, copyright 2020, all rights reserved.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.
CoupleCo out.